Hey guys, hey horse friends, it's Kristen back here, and in this video we're going to discuss a little bit more about Jovian and his unfortunate passing after his recent gelding as an 11-year-old, and why some of the reasons we heard believe why he was gelded when he was and as an 11-year-old.
Yeah, which is a little bit later for a stallion. One of the reasons is that he carries Fragile Foal Syndrome. And that is a syndrome that can be passed down to foals. They are almost always euthanized immediately. It's an issue with the connective tissues in the body. Mm-hmm. So they can have really thin skin. They can be very thin. Their joints can be hyperflective, and they can actually get sores on the outside of their body. It is not something that is treatable. And it's a miserable life, so they are almost always euthanized for it. For a stallion to even be considered to breed to a mare that carries Fragile Foal Syndrome, the mare should be negative. And I know that a lot of people just didn't even want that at all. And honestly, I wouldn't want that either.
I don't think I would risk it because even, breeding and everything else, he's a carrier. So even if the foal doesn't necessarily have it, they could potentially be a carrier, and then you're still having to do much more genetic testing, which I am a proponent for genetic testing. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have that, but it does make it easier to, for certain things like that, like the Fragile Foal Syndrome.
Yeah, and there's so many stallions out there that don't carry stuff like this. Yes, he was a fantastic horse, but if you run the risk of hurting somebody down the road, why do it? It reminds me kind of HYPP in the quarter horse world, right? They've done a pretty darn good job of trying to get rid of that.
Yeah.
So to me, that would be the responsible thing to do.
And just keeping an eye on who you're breeding to and what's there.
Yeah. So the other question might be, okay, well, he carries this. Why not just keep him as a stallion and not breed him? And for those of you that don't know how these stallions are kept, it's really not that great of a life. A lot of them are left in solitude. They can't.
Isolating.
Yeah, it's really isolating. A lot of them aren't allowed to interact with other horses. I was also told through the grapevine that Jovian was a horse that really didn't like being in the stall, that he was a stall kicker, possibly. And so I'm not trying to paint Helgstrand out to be this wonderful human being, but it could be that maybe he was trying to give him a better life as a gelding.
And remember, a lot of these things, this is information we're getting from other places and our own opinions on it. So we don't know exactly how it's set up there. We haven't been there. So it's just theories on our part. And it is one of those things where stallions are often kept separate. They don't get to have the same social interaction as other horses. And so as a gelding, had he survived, he may have been able to eventually have that opportunity as a gelding to be with other horses and have that social interaction and not be in a stall all the time.
Yeah. And, with the lowering of the testosterone, he might have had less anxiety in his life and overall just been a happier horse. So that is what we are really hoping that they were trying to do. I know that there are people out there that are talking about insurance money and all of those things. We can't quantify or any of that. I'm not saying that it's not possibly true. And if that is something that you believe, you are more than entitled to that. And we would love to hear your opinions on there about it.
You might think that.
Right. Yeah.
Do you have any inside knowledge or something that, links you to making that? Or, why do you think that might be the possibility if that is your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. And we've also seen some comments, which I thought was interesting too, that he might have had some biological issues inside of his testicles that we don't know about, where a veterinarian had suggested possibly that he was gelded. I don't know that either. I do know that as an older horse, it is a much more dangerous procedure to geld them. There's a lot more vasculature down there, and so they do run the risk, a greater risk of bleeding out, which is kind of what I'm assuming might have happened.
Yeah.
Because I know it was 2 days after the European Championships, they said that they let him take a rest, then they performed this procedure, and it seemed pretty darn quickly after that he did not make it. And to me, if it was an infection, I would think it wouldn't happen that fast, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I feel like infections usually take some time to build up.
Yeah.
Bleeding out is a little bit quicker.
Yes.
But
yeah.
And who knows? Maybe they just discovered something and, I was like, oh, maybe we should just, that's just throwing things out there. I don't know.
Yeah. It could be.
We're not involved, so it's all speculation on our parts. And, you guys viewing and everything else, it's all speculation right now, unless somebody who is involved in everything comes out with, more
detailed information.
Which is, if they want to do that, that'd be great. That'd be fine. But, we're not owed any of that information. They don't have to give it.
They don't. But we do feel very sorry for Jovian that happened to him. 11 years old is not a long time to live. And it is unfortunate that this can be something that happens with the gelding process. It's not, it's a surgery that is done routinely, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have risks. And I think that is something that a lot of us underestimate at any age, is that any procedure comes with risks and can't be taken lightly.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us in this discussion, and let us know if you like this type. We're experimenting with different videos, and we love to get information out there to you guys, and drop some comments below, and we respond to everybody.
And anything you want us to talk about, especially in this discussion format like this too, we're all open and for it. We love all of the suggestions and everything that you guys do, and communicating with us and enjoying our channel.
Yep. Thank you.